Sarai from the Boys and Girls Club.
Sarai, Jody Haneke. Nice to meet you.
Mario from
Jody Haneke, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, so our first question would be your name and position in your company.
Sure. My name is Jody Haneke. I'm president and founder of Haneke Design, located right here in downtown Tampa, Florida. We're a custom software development agency, so we design and develop web and mobile applications. And I come at technology from a creative background. I went to Ringling College of Art and Design and graduated in 1995, so I'm old. But immediately got involved in working in applying my creative skills to the technology sector. So the company's been in business since 2002, and we're about 23 full-time employees.
How did the company get started? Did you start at another company, learn the ropes, and then start your own?
Sure. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that start businesses with some giant business plan and a lot of thought. I actually didn't have all that. When I started my company, I was winding down working for a venture capital-backed software company, and was eventually just doing some contract work for them. And I was looking at the job market at the time, and if you go back in time to the late 2001, early 2002 timeframe, the market for technology jobs was just not great. So I actually decided to just go out on my own and start doing some contracting and consulting, just picking up projects here and there, and out of necessity. I just looked at the job market and I figured, I can make more money and I could have more flexibility by just kind of working on projects on my own. So Haneke Design grew from that, really. I got real busy when I started, and all of a sudden I realized, wow, there's just not enough hours in the day to get all this work done, and there's a lot of demand. Maybe I should hire somebody. So then I started hiring more people that had a similar skill set to myself, just to kind of increase the bandwidth, and that's pretty much how it started. So it grew. It's an organic story, really. And it's also should be noted that from day one I've used revenue to fund the company. So we're entirely revenue funded from day one. So we would make money and we'd reinvest that money inside the company by hiring more people. I'm a strong believer that that's an important way to grow as a services company.
So with you starting your own company, was there anybody who inspired you to actually start your company, or was what you said just spontaneous out of the blue?
I think ever since when I was in college, I always wanted to, at the time I was a graphic design major, so I always thought I was going to have kind of a design studio. I was like, oh, one day that would be super awesome to have my own design studio doing graphic design. But again, I got involved in technology as soon as I graduated, and what I realized was I still wanted to create that design agency, but it was going to be more focused on user experience design, building, designing for the screen and for devices and whatnot. And I think that having a software company, which is basically what we are now, is kind of completely outside of the vision in the early days. It just so happened to be something that we embraced basically when the iPhone came out. So we were doing a lot of front-end design, a lot of traditional graphic design at the time, and then the iPhone came out and we decided, hey, this might be a great thing for us to explore and bring in development, so people that write the code, so that we could help companies design and develop these software applications. So again, there's a lot of kind of happenstance in our story, but we just, when I see opportunity, we grab it, and we got in on the early days of the mobile revolution. And by bringing that development in-house, we were really able to ride that wave, and still are.
What tips would you give someone else trying to start their own business, as an entrepreneur?
I think starting your own business is a big endeavor, and I think one of the best things that you can do is you really have to look inside yourself and say, where are my gaps? Creating a company involves so many different areas of practice as far as accounting, business development, the actual production of the work or the product. And not everyone is good at all those things. So I think one of the most important things to realize is, hey, is this something I can start as an entrepreneur myself and kind of hire people and build it, or do I actually need to partner with somebody? Because I need some help on the accounting side. I need some help over here. Maybe I'm not a good salesperson, but that's a big part of how we're going to drive business. So I think one of the best pieces of advice is to really look inside yourself and say, hey, what am I good at, and where am I deficient, and do I need to kind of bring in a partner to round out the team?
So with you in college, you starting your own company and being an entrepreneur. If you didn't do that, where would you be?
Geez, I can't even think of like working for another company right now, but I assume I would be working for another larger agency. One of the things that I really appreciate about having my own company is I've been able to really make Tampa our home. I'm passionate about been here for over 20 years, and I love it here. And so I do think that if I were to grow in my career, I might have looked at opportunities in other major metropolitan areas, and I might not be here. But I most likely would be working for an agent, a large agency, as a creative director, something of that nature.
What would you say is your favorite aspect of owning your own company?
My favorite aspect of owning my own company is that we can make decisions quickly. That I can get with my team, and if we need to pivot, we can pivot. We don't have a large. I guess that's also the size of our company too. Like I said, we're 23 people, so we're not a big company. But the thing that I really enjoy about having my own company and working with a smaller team is that we don't get stuck in this paralysis mode. We're able to make some decisions, look at where the market is going, and then just point the ship in that direction. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about running my own business.
So what would you consider your greatest skills?
Well, I'm passionate about design. Like I said, I went to school for graphic design and have been part of the whole, I'd say, invention of the term user experience design. So being able to really think through the user's needs and how to create an experience that's going to be intuitive, aesthetically appealing, that's definitely a skill set that's gotten me to where I am at today. That being said, one of my first user experience projects was designing software for a company that did sales training, and they would sell sales training to very large defense contractors like Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, those big companies selling $1 million products and services. And I spent like 2 weeks going to all their training, just to immerse myself in like what the training material was all about, so that I could kind of convert that into a software experience. And man, that was like an amazing thing, because I basically got a sales boot camp, if you will. So although I think that the skills as far as design is concerned, and especially with user experience design, has really gotten us to where we are today, I don't think that would have happened if I didn't understand some of the fundamentals of business development and sales. For instance, it's very easy to work on a project and get your blinders on and be like, man, I can't imagine working on another project right now. I'm so busy. I'm so consumed by this. If you don't have one part of your mind out there talking to other people, trying to network, trying to fill the top of your sales funnel, you're going to finish that project, and then you're going to look around and be like, oh my God, what am I going to do next, right? So I think you really, especially if you're kind of bootstrapping the company yourself, is really just make sure that you have a percentage of your time allocated to doing the networking, going out there and really trying to fill the top of that sales funnel. So I think it's a combination of some talent and skills in the area of obviously of executing our services, but it's also sales and business development for sure.
Was there ever a time where you felt like very overwhelmed by the company and like you were ready to give it up in a sense? And how did you get through this time?
That's a great question, and I'm very determined. So I feel overwhelmed frequently. That doesn't go away. That's part of the journey and kind of always is. You have certain problems when you're small, and certain problems when you add your first employee, and certain problems that I had this morning. So the overwhelm factor is always there. It's just how do you handle it? I think one of the things I never thought about throwing in the towel. We've been blessed with just continued work. And I think that if you do the right things for the right reasons for your client, and you really have passion for the product, everything else kind of in what we do, everything else just kind of falls into play. That's what I tell my team all the time. I say that the best way that we keep this pipeline of work going is for you guys to deliver things that amaze and delight, these end users. You just create really great experiences on behalf of our clients. So we've done that. We've never had a, we have zero debt, revenue funded from day one, And I think it's because we deliver, you know. So again, you know, I've been frustrated and you know, frequently, and that's always there. But you know, we've always been really determined, and we've been able to rise up above it.
So, in your own company, you having your own company, is there ever going to be a time that you feel as though you're ready to retire and pass on your company to someone else, or will you continue to push through until the end?
It's you know, we've hit such a stride where I don't, I can't see myself not doing what I'm doing now. Maybe operating in a different capacity, you know, maybe I relinquish some of the management of the company and move into, you know, into a different role where it's maybe a little less active. But the entire concept of retirement to me just has become just such a silly concept. I mean, to just wait your entire life to stop working and enjoy life when your, you know, body is starting to fail you just seems kind of silly. So I'm trying to find ways to just continue doing what I do. And by the way, what I do, I love, you know, so it's less work. You know, I'm super passionate about these things that we create and invent, you know, so I'm always going to be creating and inventing things. So again, I just, I don't even think about the idea of retirement. Now, you know, if there's, in the future, there's an opportunity to partner with another company or merge with another company and come together and create something even better. You know, that's not necessarily something we're targeting, but you know, I could see something like that happening down the road. But you know, I love what I do, and I'll do it as long as, you know, I'm capable of doing it.
With the technology field like expanding as of recent, do you see your company like taking an expansion as well, like software design, like going into a different part, but also keeping what it started with?
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things that we're huge believers in is just figuring out where the edge is and then being able to deliver at that edge. So when the iPhone came out, they announced the SDK, or Software Developers Kit. We immediately said, this is going to be a big opportunity. People are going to be just scrambling to figure out their mobile strategy and deliver applications on these devices. So we were right there when that happened. So immediately from like day one, we started building mobile apps for iOS, and then Android came out, and then we were right there as well. And then things like the Internet of Things, augmented reality, virtual reality. I mean, that's been emerging, but right now they're really we're starting to see commercial applications of those things. So we're right there building those things. So we try to get in, allow some of our folks some time to prototype and experiment with some of those things that are at that edge. So when the market is ready to adopt those new technologies, we're there to be able to deliver on those. It's hard for large companies, very large companies, to stay at where that edge is, just because they're slow moving. You know, training is an issue. You know, hiring talent is an issue. So our whole strategy for being a marketable company is to be able to deliver those services for larger companies who are having difficulty finding the talent and keeping their internal staff trained on some of those next generation technologies.
So I think this would be my last question.
Sure.
If you had any wish, what would it be?
Any wish, geez. For business-wise?
In general.
Oh, in general. In general, you know, I just, you know, you know, the only thing that I always pray over and think about is my family. You know, is just, you know, seeing them be successful. You know, my kid, I'm an inventor, right? Yeah, design things and invent things. I feel the same way about these children. You know, it's like you want to see them grow and blossom and be healthy and happy. So that's all I generally wish for, and you know, and if that's the case, I'm good.
If you could live in one place in the world for a year, what would that place be and why?
Japan, 100%. I'm first of all, I'm a foodie, and I love seafood, and I love sushi, and I love all the craziness of variety that they eat out of the ocean over there. So I could see myself spending some time over there. And obviously, they've always been a leap forward, especially on the mobile side. I mean, they were doing mobile payments in the 90s and stuff like that. So it would be Japan for sure.
Thank you for coming again for
no
this
problem.
interview.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.